You guys, like, this is my...
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Around South Jersey. And I can honestly say to you, tonight I have my dentist as the guest, and he brought a guest with him as well. And there it is, that wonderful George Kourakin, who was one of the best athletes ever at Millville High School, one of the best dentists in South Jersey. And George, it's so good to see you.
My pleasure, Jim. How you doing?
Good, buddy.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Okay, whatever you want. I got to come to you whenever I, go. In fact, we probably could talk about the COVID period of time as well. But introduce this handsome guy that's sitting next to you here.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, I am your dentist. Here's my dentist there. This is
I always
Justin
wondered who was your
Perotti.
dentist. There I met him.
People ask me, who do I go to? There you go. Justin
Finally bring me
Perotti.
with
Dr.
me.
Justin Perotti there is my dentist there. As a matter of fact, I just had my first root canal done about 4 months ago, 5 months ago. And so now I need a crown, I need a post and core. So this guy right here is going to be doing the work for me. So
That's good. See? Your teeth look good, too.
No pressure, right?
You got to do all that stuff there, Justin.
We never have time. He's a busy guy.
I'm just thinking of the tooth that's got the same thing where you sent me someplace in Vineland to get the root canal done.
Right.
And you did whatever else had to be done.
Yes, and so I went to the same, practitioner to have my root canal done. This was before Justin came on, because Justin also does root canal therapy.
Do you really?
Try to do a little bit of everything.
That's fantastic.
That's it. You start early and
That's great.
keep it going.
That is wonderful to hear. Because up until now, I didn't know anybody, locally. Well, like I know I had to go to Vineland to get the root canal done. So, Justin, tell us a little bit about you and where you're
All
from.
right.
And
Thanks
where
for having me
school.
on, Jim. I'm
Great to
from
have you.
Millville, and I went to Buna High School, and
You were a chief.
absolutely. So I'm learning a little bit about Millville over here, and I went to Temple Dental School and been practicing for a year, and now I ended up here.
Wow, that's fantastic. When did you think you wanted to be a dentist? When you were younger? Or?
Not till like third year of college. So I was
Really?
a little late to the party.
Well, but that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
and you went to Rutgers, right,
Yep.
for your undergrad?
Yep, New Brunswick, yes.
So then from there, you decided you wanted to be a dentist, and then Temple Dental School is where you went?
So I just shadowed a couple of the doctors in the area here, and Dr. Caprice's turned me on to it, and I was like, all right, this dental thing actually isn't as bad as it looks, at least not when you're in the chair.
Right.
Well, you got great teeth, too, so yeah, it's a good thing for a dentist to do. You've got a great smile.
It's a necessity. You have to.
Well, you know what's interesting, too, speaking of great smiles, besides George being probably one of the greatest athletes Millville High School had, a guy that wasn't far behind him was Jim Tenbrook.
Sure.
Tell Justin what Jim does.
Yeah, Jim Tenbrook is an orthodontist. He has Tenbrook Orthodontics. He has a few locations,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he was a state champ, I think, right?
Yeah, he was in
Yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah, that's what I did at Buna.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, so I talked to him once or twice before actually about it, so.
Well, when we need a
Nice to
color
meet.
commentator for wrestling, I'll know who to call.
Yeah, that's
you
it,
know.
so anytime.
I don't know, George, if you've met him, and Justin, I'm sure you probably haven't either, but the superintendent of schools, the new superintendent, super guy, Tony Trongone is his name. He was I don't know if he made states, but he knew Jimmy Tenbrook because they're about the same age, and his son was a state champion, and there's sort of like a bond, isn't there, among wrestlers? There's that.
Yeah,
my
it's close-knit.
brother-in-law's son was a state champion from Lower Cape May Regional, and it's pretty neat when you see that. George, you didn't wrestle.
I never wrestled because, I used to watch those guys wearing those wetsuits, those sweaty plasticky things to lose weight, And I was like, no, I'm not giving up my pasta. I'm not giving up my calories there. I'm not going to sweat like that to gain weight there. Let them do it, They're a tough group. They really are. And I can see
Yeah.
how there would be that fraternity, because look at the price that you pay,
Yeah.
to get to that particular point.
That's the truth.
So,
I admire everybody. George, tell everybody what you did at high school, and I was telling everybody what great athlete, which you truly were. What were your sports?
my two sports were football and track.
Right. And what did you do in track?
I actually did a little bit of everything in
Okay.
track. I was very fortunate that I actually won a decathlon my senior year.
That's fantastic.
In high school. So, yeah, I ran a 100-yard dash.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was the third fastest back in '72 behind Johnny Green.
Yeah,
and
I remember Johnny.
Johnny Green is, held a state record one time.
Yeah.
And Don Smiley. So Don Smiley and I were like second, third and second. So I did that. I ran the 440 relay.
Wow.
I was the third leg of the 440 relay.
Right.
And that was all fine and good, but my main events were really throwing the shot put.
That's what I thought.
Throwing
I thought
the
you were,
discus,
yeah, that's,
throwing the javelin,
jeez.
and the long jump.
Oh my
So everything,
goodness!
pretty much.
Yeah, you. What didn't you do, George? No wonder.
Hence
That's
the
fantastic.
decathlon.
Wow.
Yeah, but the long jump was really my favorite. My forte.
Do you know Raphael Craig? Have you ever heard of him? That was
no.
he graduated probably in the '90s, but that was his thing too, the long jump, and his daughter was doing that. No, he also did the high jump as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, boy, that's no wonder everybody was saying how I knew you from football. Of course, we didn't cover track and field,
Right.
But football. Tell everybody what you did in football.
Football, I was a defensive end primarily, and I played tight end also. But I love the defensive end position.
Who was your coach?
Well, let's see. I started out with Vince Hoke,
Yep.
right? Bob Campbell,
Yes.
and that whole generation. And then from then on, we were with,
Chuck.
Hogan.
Bob Hogan.
Bob
Yeah,
Hogan,
right.
was our coach.
Was Tony? When was Tony?
Tony was there. He was like the defensive line coach, I believe, maybe linebacker coach.
Yeah.
But Dick Lawrence was the head coach at that particular time. So he was, but I think he only did like a 2-year, 3-year stint in Millville there.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah, you're right. Anyway, we got to talk about dentistry, and George brought a great prop, I guess you'll call this. The official has been providing quality dental care. Now, I didn't know this. It's actually been 2 years. It started about 2 years after I was born is when this all started. 1947. Jeez, that's amazing. I thought you actually started the practice 1947. Here's, you see our George is getting a close-up. And Mrs. Satterley, Jessie Satterley, was one of the first people, right?
Jessie Satterley was as far back as I could go through trying to find, existing patient records. I treated her until, her departure, her untimely death. But back then, there was no address, there was no phone number. It was just Jessie Satterley, no medical history. Just here you go, sit in a chair. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 fillings on you, and it's going to cost you $15.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Wow. Isn't that amazing? I never realized. Who was the dentist at that time?
Dr. Howard Heron.
Oh, I do remember hearing
And
Dr.
Dr. Howard Heron was officially my dentist.
Oh, no kidding.
He's the one that convinced me to be a dentist. So I would go to him, and he would do things like, here, George, here's some sutures. Go suture a frog or something.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was crazy. Yeah,
That's
crazy
neat.
stuff. I don't know why he took this interest in myself, but he did, and he nurtured me. And
oh, that's nice.
even when I was in high school, it's like, by the time you're going to graduate from high school or from college, you'll be ready to go to dental school. I'll be thinking about retiring. And when I was in dental school, he's like, if you come back to Millville, I'll be ready to retire.
Oh, that's super.
So I graduated from dental school. I started as his associate. And then 1 year later, he has an unfortunate, very untimely death.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Died on July 4th doing a decathlon.
He was...
A triathlon, excuse me.
He was doing a triathlon?
He was doing a triathlon.
Oh,
he was 66 years old.
Wow.
On July 4th, and as I said, he died probably a heart attack. And so at any rate, I had to name the practice, and I wanted to name it in his honor, my dentist.
Oh, that's neat. Now, I never realized. I thought that's a cute, slogan for the business and stuff like that. That is really neat.
So it has a real origin. It's not just.
Isn't that something? That is so unusual.
Do you remember the name before? What it was, or?
Dr. Howard Heron.
Nice and simple.
HH.
DDS. Yep.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking about who I went to as a kid. Dr. Nidalo was my dentist.
Sure.
And then from him, I went to Dr. Spate. I had his kids on my Little League team, and he was a neighbor. And then I had Bill Dudley, who worked with me, did sports with me and stuff. And then that son of a gun at a young age retired. I said, what am I going to do? Tony Cerace, who's like the superstar that goes to George, he goes, you could go to my dentist. I said, who's your dentist? He said, George Kourakin. I said, oh, I love George. He's the best defensive end and tight end at Millville football, at decathlon. And you were a super athlete. I was so proud of you. And everybody knows what a great job you do. And, it's interesting. I guess, and I can see with Justin, he's got a great personality.
He does.
That's important that people, especially if you're a little nervous or whatever,
who isn't, right?
Calms them down. Yeah, that's true. I think when you go to the dentist, you're a little bit. Justin, who was your dentist?
I saw Dr. Rolnick for. I must have been at least 18, 19 years old, still going to pediatric dentist, and then I think I finally got ushered out the door. And then I went to Brickwork and saw Dr. Mensch for a couple of years in college.
I see. Yep. So, George, this is nice. So, Justin is now, besides your dentist, would I see him if you're not available?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's right. He does root canals. I hope I don't need you.
Yeah, not for that reason.
Justin,
no, just to hang out.
Yeah, just to hang out, check them out, say everything's okay. Thanks to George, I have all my teeth except one. And then the one, I guess it's been a couple of years ago now, he told me to go to violent oral surgery. Who's the guy there? Very nice man.
Dr. Caprice.
Yeah, that's. Oh, you'd mentioned him too,
Yep.
Dr. Caprice as well. And he was very nice. But not as nice as George, but it was somewhere to go. Yeah, that's true. I didn't realize it's the only tooth I've ever had pulled in my life, and I hope it's the only one I need to have pulled. But he did a nice job. He really did. So, folks, we're going to talk more about Justin and George, and I've got a big question for George when we come back. And he was worried it was a setup, but it's true. I told him what I was going to ask him. So right after we come back from the commercial messages, I'm going to ask George the big question. So don't go away.
When you want delicious food made from scratch soups and locally sourced ingredients, you head to Larry's 2 on Main Road in Vineland, New Jersey. Family owned and operated, Larry's 2 boasts one of the area's only salad bars with a great selection of fresh vegetables, rolls, dressings, and more. In their cafe, enjoy a piping hot cup of your favorite beverage made by one of their skilled baristas. Their complimentary Wi-Fi allows Larry's 2 to be the meeting destination with a friend or small group. They also offer banquet rooms that can accommodate 10 to 120 guests for any occasion. Open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. Call Larry's 2 today at 856-692-9001. Larry's 2 Restaurant and Cafe, located at 907 North Main Road in Vineland, New Jersey.
I'm Brian Lankin, third generation business owner, Al Shoes. Been at the same location since 1961, our 61st year. We specialize in work boots, work shoes, orthopedic shoes, baby walking shoes, and school shoes. We go up to a men's 17 and a woman's 13. It's $5 off 25 and 10 off 100 if you mention that you've seen this.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. My dentist is with me, along with his dentist. We got my dentist is here. His dentist is over there, Justin Parati, and this is my dentist, George Kourakin. And, well, you know, George, I want to commend you. You have a really good staff. You really do. I've always been impressed with your hygienist, you know, and all the people that work there. You've got some really good people. And now you got a great dentist yourself. See, I always wondered who was taking care of you. Now I know.
Well, thank you, Jim. I mean, you know, I believe that, you know, it's from the top down. I want my staff to treat our patients the way I would want to be treated. You know, and if you have that as the bottom line, as how people look, you would want the same thing. How would you want your family treated?
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
Unfortunately, I don't see that happening in a corporate world anymore. It's more about the numbers. It's more about, you know, the form. It's all about. Everything is being so impersonalized.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And I think it's a shame. Like, for instance, I was on a flight yesterday, and I heard this woman walk up to a Spirit Airlines agent, and the agent says to her, and this woman was probably in her mid-70s, and the agent says to her, well, ma'am, you need to pull up your app and do it on your app. And the woman says, I don't have a cell phone.
Oh, wow.
Now, what is this person going to do?
Yeah.
How is she going to board this plane? She doesn't have a cell phone. App, what?
Yeah,
app is what? An appetizer?
Yeah, exactly.
Give me some
Good point.
clams,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know?
not too far above that myself. But
You
I
know,
have cell phones.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
as
that
far
is
as an
tough.
office being technically advanced, there's none more advanced than we are. But at the same time, we still have to have that human connection.
Yeah.
And I think that that's so important there, especially in such an intimate practice or profession as dentistry. I mean, we are hands-on, in your face, you know, in a very private area, and you're awake to see it.
Wait, George, I have to tell you this before I forget. I went to all the dentists that I mentioned before, but nobody, folks, nobody gives a needle better than George. I don't even realize I'm getting it numbed up. It's like, are you? Yeah, he says, well, I already took care of it.
Oh,
So
shucks.
you're not only a great athlete, you're a great dentist, and you do a great job with people. And I'm so glad you have Justin now here as well. So, because I was concerned, you know, how things are going along and all that stuff. But now that I know you have your dentist, that can, if you're not there, I can go to Justin.
Right,
He could be
absolutely.
my dentist too as well. So, and what a nice person he is. I really just met him, and he exudes that warmth and that friendliness that you have and your staff has, and that's a credit to your mom and dad.
Thank
and all
you.
that
I
stuff.
appreciate it. They
You're
definitely
welcome.
deserve it. So I just try to make dental appointments as friendly and not like the dentist as you can make it, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I bet you got a
Try
good
and
sense of
forget it.
humor too. You got a
Yeah.
great smile, and that's, you know. And you're right, George. And I find folks the same thing during the break. George and I were talking about his business has been 1947, 47. So, you know, it's 75, 76 years old. And we were talking about, and Justin mentioned he had been there. I'm saying, and he said, Jim, wonder who's older. I said, well, Jim's Lunch is celebrating our 100th anniversary. And what did you have, Justin, when you went to Jim's Lunch?
Well, I had the cheesesteak wrap with Jim sauce, of course.
Yes, everybody has to have
Yeah,
Jim's Lunch
yeah.
sauce.
So I'll be back again.
I'll tell you what, my favorite meal is Friday. It's like Thanksgiving. Every Friday there, it's real turkey. I mean, the leg and everything, the whole not. Most places they just give you the turkey breast anymore, but they have the real turkey as well. And they're really, I've been there so many times. This is a funny story on Jim's Lunch. 8 years ago, Mike Trout, you've heard of Mike, right?
Of course.
And he's probably
Yeah,
patient,
but-
isn't he? Yeah.
But the family is.
Okay, well, and Jeff is super. In fact, Jeff and I and Jimmy Parent and Joe Durrell, about 3 months ago did a show. We celebrated our 25th anniversary of the 5 of us getting elected to the city of Millville. I was the mayor. Jeff finished second behind me, and we had a really good time reminiscing about those days. But then we started talking about other places, and George, you mentioned a good one, which is across the street from me.
Torelli's.
Yeah, we wonder, that's got to be 76, 77, maybe. I don't know. I'll talk to Rob Rooney, who's a great guy. Do you know Rob, the owner?
No.
You got to go there too, Justin, sometimes. Right across the street. No, it's right here.
Okay.
Right across the street next to Manny's Pizza. Guy's about your age. Great guy. I did his wedding. In fact, congratulations, Rob and Sasha. They just had a baby. And I love his burgers, and they were the Joe Torelli burgers. George has had those.
Right.
They each have their own different sauce. Jim's has a sauce that's a little bit peppery. I'm not into spice as much. He has a sweet sauce, so I love his sauce on the burgers. But anyway, you're right, George. That's one that's been here for a long, long time, as we talk about businesses. But no dentist since 1947 has preceded Dr. Heron, who was there for. And he was young then when he died. Wait,
66.
and how many years ago? How many years have you been?
Well, that was in 82.
Okay. So you graduated high school in 72. Where did you go to school?
I went to undergrad, Juniata College, Central Pennsylvania,
Right.
and Fairleigh Dickinson up in North Jersey.
Right. Oh, that's super.
Teaneck Hackensack.
Yep. So that was speaking of school now, here's the big question. I prepared George for it. He thought it was a trick question. He thought it was going to be to name him to name me. No, I'm serious. Like, who was your favorite teacher in high school, George?
That's really a tough question.
You can name more than one if you want.
Well, that's the problem. I'm one of these guys. I don't have favorites. I don't have a favorite color. I don't have a favorite car. I just never had favorites. As a matter of fact, I feel kind of inadequate because people would say to me, "Hey, what's your favorite color?" And I'm like, "Oh, geez, let's see, blue, red, green, yellow. I don't know. How much flavored flour? I have no idea. Fish? I don't know. I don't have a favorite. I could never have a tattoo because I could never pick one tattoo. But if I had to pull out a couple names here, Phelan.
Yeah, right.
And I can't remember her first name.
Yeah, I know, Mrs. Phelan. She was an English teacher.
She was
right?
an English teacher.
Her husband worked at the college.
I think he was president of the college.
Yeah, yes, he was. That's right. You're absolutely right. Because, in fact, a friend of mine, Joyce Jorgensen, was secretary for Dr. Phelan. That's
Phelan, right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So she's the one who said, "George, you need to go to Juniata College."
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, because back then, this was, 60, whatever, 71. My parents didn't know about college. We had no clue. And even though I got in athletic scholarships from different schools, the colleges back then all wanted to own you as an athlete. So I turned down several scholarships. I went to the only school that offered me no scholarships, but they offered me the ability to go into the pre-med program thanks to Mrs. Phelan.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So she's like, "George, this is where you go."
See?
I was like, "Yes, ma'am."
Well,
that's where I'm
she
going.
made a big impact in your life, really.
Absolutely.
For all of us. Thank God.
Yeah, she was an amazing woman there.
Yeah, in fact, it's funny. My favorite teacher was John Barbos, who was the football coach. But he really made history come alive. He was so good. It was during the Bay of Pigs invasion and all that kind of stuff going on. But the other thing I liked about him, George, is he used to let me go run errands and pay bills for him. So I had a car, I could run out and do those things too. So that made him my favorite also.
Right.
I'm sure you can't do that today. I was telling George and Justin, we were talking about Justin being a star wrestler at Buna, talking about Tony Trongone, who's a superintendent of schools in Millville. He was a wrestler. His son was a wrestler. And it's quite and Jim Tenbrook, we talked about, was a state wrestling champ. And Justin, you did meet Jim, right? You said that as well. Yeah. So it was interesting. So when you graduated from dental school, you came right to Dr. Heron?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually did like a little mini rotation in his office there. He didn't pay me anything, but at least I got to see what was going on in the world of dentistry when I was a senior in dental school.
Or from what he was charging, I'm wondering.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't pay $15 for billings, That was tough overhead there. So, but yeah, there was a real smooth transition. And back then, it really wasn't known that someone would sell someone a dental practice or any practice for that reason. So we actually really did a contract on a handshake.
Wow. Oh, I was able to get a comment. It's Eric Nicky. He said, I've been going to Dr. Kourakin since he started his dental practice. He's a fantastic dentist. That's right. See, Eric, he's my dentist, your dentist. In fact, Justin, he's going to have to be your dentist, too.
So, yeah,
right? Even though you're his dentist.
I'm lucky enough to see him.
Love you, Eric.
I'm having trouble with I did get Eric's comment anyway. Anybody else want to comment? I think I can pick them up now. But, it is funny when I go in, almost every time, and believe me, you're really on time. I don't sit very long to wait. To your credit, your courtesy, people get you in and stuff. But it was interesting when I do sit in the waiting room for a little bit. I run into people I know. It's so wonderful and it comes back to what you said. Having a person that I've known you most of your life when I was covering the Millville football, and I had your brother, in my class before he passed away. And I was with a lady the other night was talking about you and the horses.
Oh, jeez.
I said, okay. Wow. She knew everything. She said, he's great. And so did you have a farm, too?
My father.
That's what I thought.
I lived on the farm.
Yeah, okay. That's what I meant. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what Dad did. Now, where did Dad come from?
My father, actually, both my parents are actually from the country of Latvia.
Okay.
City, basically, Riga, which is the capital, or just outside the capital of Latvia. So
you ever been back there?
No, never have. My aunt went there once. She told me, in the early 90s, it was still like going back into the 50s.
Oh, that's a shame.
Like
Cuba, where they still had the 50s.
And of course, the communists came in, they took over, Latvia. And it wasn't until Latvia was emancipated there, that I really had no interest in even going. Well, I couldn't go back there because it's communist control.
Yeah. So you were telling me you were just on a plane? You must have been in Florida.
Yeah, I was. Okay. Didn't come back with any intent. Didn't go down there with any leisure intent. It was really more, a business. Trip.
All right. Well, I understand that. Well, that's good. At least it's a write-off.
Right. But I really want to go back on one thing here. You talked about injections, and I do facial injectables.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yes.
When you were talking about injections, I really pride myself on my injections. And by the way, Justin does a great injection also. But I actually calculated out how many injections do you think I had given, and this was now up to 2011, from the time I started practicing to 2011, how many injections do you think I had given at that point?
Oh, my God. Hundreds of thousands?
Hundreds of thousands. Try 275,000
over $250,000
is what I calculated.
Well, no wonder you're so good. Jeez.
I better be. If I'm not good after that, take my shingle and throw it away. You better be good, right?
Oh, my gosh. No wonder you're so good. By the way, that was Liz Nicky. I just saw that. Boy, you talk about a super lady. Isn't she, her sister, the Buckley family, they are just, I've been so blessed when I was at City Hall. Liz was there. I had Hattie Ayers and Mrs. McCafferty. Just Bill McCafferty's wife. I'm drawing a blank on her first name right now. But just the nice June Berry. I mean, just nice people, and you get a lot of them. I mean, and it comes back to what you were saying before. Personalization. You don't go to a corporate. I try not to go to corporate stores. I want to go to Hal Hardware. I don't want to go to Home Depot, to be honest with you, because I know, go in there and see people and have a good time. And I'm so dumb. I don't know what I need. I'll just say, Greg, what do I need? Right. Oh, Jim, you need this, this, and this. Okay, thank you. Put it in the bag. Right. I'll go take it to the guy that fixes things because I have no ability whatsoever. Isn't that amazing? I can't. I'm lucky I can put a light bulb in. But see, you guys probably do everything. So, plus,
Yeah, everyone's given gifts. You certainly have yours.
Yeah, thanks. This is fun doing this for. Well, actually, I started in radio in 1968, and I got to do a DJ show at WWBZ. Do you remember that when you were
Sure
young?
do.
They had a call in where you wouldn't know. You're too young. But anyway, I was able to do that. And then I never had one job. I taught, but when I was teaching, I did radio from 7 to 11 at WMVB in the evening. So,
Busy.
Yeah, it was. Then I had a show on this local cable channel. It was called Auction Time. And that was interesting, George. I started that in the late 70s, early 80s. And I didn't have any program to put on. It's like, what do you put on? I had religious program people would buy. But other than that, I had 24 hours a day. In fact, they used to have this little message board thing with an index card, and it would turn with music. That's basically what was on. So anyway, I thought about this, and actually, believe it or not, one year, I think it was 80 or 81, I had 4 locations. I did $500,000 retail sales in Millville, next to Chet Goodwin. I was running there.
Yeah,
so
right.
it was big. Then, don't forget, you're so young. We only had 12 channels. So people didn't, 300 now.
Right.
We're competing
Channel
with a lot. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So that was a fun thing to be able to do. But coming back to what Dr. Fallon's wife said to you about doing what you should do, and you did, and you love what you do. And Justin, I'm sure you had that encouragement somewhere along the line as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't get anywhere without other people's help, so it's definitely nice to have some strong influences in your life, kind of steer you in the right direction.
So tell me about your family, your mom, dad, and brothers, sisters.
Yeah, I grew up in Millville, right down
Love
Broad
Mill
Street.
May. Yep.
Mill May, I love it.
I do too. It's great. Have you been down to Sidelines?
Yeah, a few times. That's
Teddy Lambert?
right down that way. Yeah, it's always packed over
Isn't
there.
it though?
It's always packed.
Teddy does a
Too
fantastic
bad they
job.
didn't have the Dollar General either when I was growing up.
Oh, that's
there.
right. They have that now. You made it.
man.
Mill May's made it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big
So
time.
you don't ever need to leave anymore.
No, that's right. Get your food.
Yeah, so parents, they grew up on a farm too.
They had great work ethic too.
Yep,
That's for
absolutely. So that's kind of where I learned it from. And then older brother and a younger brother.
Sure. Oh, that's good. So the 3 brothers. My 3 sons, your mom and dad had, right?
Yep.
So you don't remember that. That was a TV show. But mom
brother-
and dad would remember it, but you wouldn't. That's what's tough when you're young. You haven't had that experience. You probably don't remember that either, do you? My 3 sons, do you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in print somewhere. So.
Yeah.
But Justin and I have a lot in common because we both were raised on farms.
Yeah.
Growing up on Newcomb Town Road, Leamings Mill Road, my family started out farming. So I could relate with Justin in that respect. As a matter of fact, he cut up a couple of steaks that he had graciously passed on to me.
Did you eat them yet?
No, not yet. Saving them for a special occasion there,
All right, well, don't wait too long.
No, I promise you I won't, So it's kind of neat that, here we have Millville and Mill May.
Yeah.
To find a dentist from Mill May.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all there is to it, And to find a great dentist is like, now multiply that times 100.
Yeah.
So I'm so fortunate,
Now, how did you guys connect?
I was looking for somewhere to go for an office and found his email address and sent him an email. I think he called me like 8 a.m. the next morning.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it just
It was
happens
great
like that.
timing, wasn't it?
Oh,
You
my
just
God.
never know how good things can work out. That's
Yeah, he's been
fantastic.
a great mentor so far, so it's been really nice over there.
Well, it's been a great working relationship here,
Yeah. Well, and he must be good if he's your dentist. So
Absolutely.
there you go, folks. You want a testimonial.
Right, there it is.
Justin is great.
Right.
We'll be back with Justin and George, my dentist and his dentist, right after these messages.
Complete Care Health Network has some big news to share with you.
We're here opening more locations and offering more services every day.
Including our newest locations on Pearl Street in Bridgeton and High Street in Millville.
We're here with convenient, high-quality, and accessible healthcare services all under one roof.
We're here just a call or an email away.
We're here to provide compassionate care for you and your family.
We're here and we're ready when you are.
Complete Care Health Network. Ready when you are.
In South Jersey, we do things our own way. We say things out loud, face things head on, and never back down. And that's how we fight cancer. With the most advanced diagnostics, leading edge technology, and a team of doctors who know how to treat your cancer. And most importantly, we do it right here at the Frank and Edith Scarpa Cancer Center, Vineland, and the Leading Edge Cancer Center, Mullica Hill.
Imagine living without pain. For over 35 years, Doctors Beatty and Doyle have helped thousands of people find relief from all types of pain. Millville Chiropractic Center has 4 doctors on staff specializing in hands-on or light-touch, drug-free pain relief methods. The examination, x-rays, therapies, and adjustments are all performed at one location. Schedule a consultation today. Enjoy life without pain and discomfort. Millville Chiropractic Center, the area's #1 pain relief center.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
Complete Care has some big news to share with you.
We're here opening more locations and offering more services every day,
including our newest locations on Pearl Street in Bridgeton and High Street in Millville.
We're here with convenient, high quality, and accessible healthcare services all under one roof.
We're here just a call or email away.
We're here to provide compassionate care for you and your family.
We're here and we're ready when you are.
Complete Care Health Network, ready when you are.
Vineland, New Jersey is a place rich in innovation and deeply rooted in hometown traditions. The city's agricultural legacy, where brands like Welch's and Progresso originated, lives on today alongside companies producing the critical pharmaceutical packaging we depend on. While Vineland continues to grow, it retains a quality of life enriched by cultural diversity and an abundance of nature's playgrounds to enjoy.
I'm Mayor Anthony Fanucci. We have something for everyone at VinelandCity.org.
Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. My dentist is with me, and his dentist is with him. So, I mean, we're set. If you need any kind of dental work, seriously, if you do, you'll never find a better place to go than my dentist, Dr. George Kourakin, and his dentist, who is Justin Parati. Right?
Nailed it.
He said, remember karate? So Parati.
So
there we go as well. And, you know, really and truly, I've just met Justin about an hour ago, but you just, that smile and, you know, the welcoming, you can see your parents, as I said, did a great job, as did yours, raising you guys. And, you know, and you're still a young kid, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and the smile and his personality is contagious.
It is, isn't it? That's,
you know,
well, that's
and
true. Yep.
People walk into the office, you can feel the happiness.
Yeah, exactly.
And how many dental offices do you walk into that you can say you feel happiness?
Yeah.
You know?
When I first met Justin, he's so young, I'm thinking, are you his driver? You know, whatever. Like that's what I think I said to him. And then find out, no, I'm his dentist. I said, oh my God, you're his dentist and he's my dentist, so we're all safe and ready to go. George and Justin, what advice would you give? I mean, I guess everybody's supposed to obviously brush twice a day, morning and evening, right? Is it better to have an electric toothbrush or a regular toothbrush? Do you have the
I'm a believer in the electric. I used the manual one for the first 20 years, and then they give you one in dental school to try out, and I haven't gone back since. It feels like when you go back to the manual one, you still got just stuff all over your teeth. So
yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad to hear
yeah,
that.
the electric ones, I've noticed you don't even have to floss as regularly as I should, and they're still just as good. So
you know what I did last night? I flossed.
Did you? You knew you were seeing George.
That's right, exactly.
You got to get everything.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's one of the rare times I should do it every day, I know. But I always think about the hygienist would say to me, oh, don't forget, floss, you know, and I think, I really should do that. So knowing I was coming today, I wanted to be a good boy and floss.
And the day before your appointment, right?
Yeah, that's true, yeah. I wonder how many people really do. I mean, it's important to do. I know that.
Everybody lies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody lies. That's all there is to it. It's a given, you know. We know. You can't fool us.
So, I guess it's interesting. I remember, in fact, this was when I was still with Bill Dudley. I'm thinking, geez, what can happen now? I mean, I'm not smart enough to think past. I've had so many, fillings done. I should be in good shape. All of a sudden, a tooth breaks in the back. And I called Brian, the photographer, Kuttner, or somehow he was available. It was a Saturday. And I went in and I thought, oh, my God, now I find out what old age is. They start breaking off and getting caps and all that stuff. So it's part of the system, right, George?
It's part of the wear and tear process. We wear and tear from the day we're born.
Yeah, that's a good point. But you know what? I heard Justin talk about giving you a steak when we were on the breaks or something. I'm not a big red meat eater. The only red meat I actually eat are burgers. And I got to tell you, someday, both of you, on Wednesdays, after you get done work at 6 or whatever, go out to Verna's Flightline Restaurant. It's at the airport. The meatloaf is the best I've ever had in my life. It's fabulous. She wraps it in bacon. It is phenomenal. It really is. And she's a sweetheart, too. So, of course, you probably know all these people from being your patients. But that's when we're talking about places.
Yeah, a ton of good places around here.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. It's like Lynn's Deli, the Holly City Deli, Verna's Place, Jim's Lunch. We're lucky to have those type of facilities. The only thing that's tough, to be honest with you, and they're one of my advertisers, thank God, is the Queen Diner here in Millville, and they also have the Queen Restaurant in Vine. That's not far from you, Justin, from Mill May, the Queen Restaurant in Vineland. Anyway, the reason I say that is, of course, you guys are wealthy because you're dentists, but this place has meals. You could both go, and you get 2 meals for $25. That's salad or soup, entree, vegetable, and dessert.
Oh, wow.
And they run that. Now, the Millville Queen has just started a $14 meal. So you get 2 for $28 or 14 for 1, but very reasonable. And they have good food. They really do. I mean, it's amazing. Yilmaz and Mehmed Kankel's their name. They are such good people. And in fact, I do a live show from the Queen Restaurant in Vineland. It's at Lincoln and Landis in Vineland as well. So that's one of the few in Millville that serves from like 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. because a lot of these other ones, like Verna, I love her, but she's closed at 7, and I usually don't eat till later, so it's hard to get. Right. But she's only open 2 days a week in the evenings, which is Wednesday and Thursday. Yeah. But
no, I frequent the Queen Diner.
Oh, that's good. Good.
It's great food.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. It's consistent.
Yeah, they do. And the other, you're right. It's interesting too as you look around. George, when we were growing up, Greek. Carrie Breniglu's father had the diner, and we had the Neptune. We had all these restaurants that were owned by Greek people who did a great job. They really did. Now, almost every single diner in Cumberland County, I think every one just about, is owned by a Turkish person. And I've become friends with Akili over one of the best restaurants is the Town Tavern in Bridgeton. That's owned by the Turkish people who have the Golden Pigeon and stuff like that. I know you go that way home and stuff, but anyway, we're lucky to have some good places to go. Do you get a lunch, or do you have to have some brought in, or do you let him go to lunch, or do you let you go to lunch?
Well, that's a personal preference in my office there. I generally don't take a lunch.
I didn't think you did.
Yeah. Work through it there and grab wherever I go.
That's why you look so good. You're not eating much.
Yeah. Justin, on the other hand, has a preference. He likes
I
lunch,
eat about 2 lunches a day, so
that's
that would
good.
make time to eat.
Well, it's something I wanted to not skip because I had thought about it, and you had mentioned with all the needles you've given and stuff. But what a great job you offer with the Botox. Tell everybody about that service. I don't think a lot of people realize that, right? I just want to go back to the one thing about why I don't eat lunch. People are like, how can you not eat lunch? Well, when I first started practicing, I was a poor kid from Millville. I was born and raised on a farm, right? I understand. Yeah.
So here I go. I'm now a practicing dentist, and it's like, wow, I've got money to afford lunch. Call Shannon's Sub Shop. And I want a cheesesteak.
They weren't any better than Shannon's, that's for sure.
Oh, my God. Shannon's steaks were the best.
They great, yes.
In like the first 4 months, I put on 10 pounds.
It's all those cheesesteaks.
It's all the cheesesteaks, And I was like, I can't do this, or I'm going to be like 200 plus. So don't schedule lunch. Don't schedule lunch for myself here because I can't control myself. The food was so good and
that's
there
great
you go.
willpower, George. I'm proud of you. Plus, I like you being there, so I don't have to wait. Well, where's my dentist? He's out to lunch. What do you mean?
And then you find out people want to come in their lunch hour.
Yeah,
so
that's true,
next
too.
thing you know, you're taking advantage of that. People want to come in. You're at work, you have lunch, come in, get whatever done, and back out you go. So then next thing you know, you kind of develop the digestive pattern of avoiding lunch. So I have a big breakfast, so carry me through, and how that whole thing.
What's interesting, Mayor Finucci from Vineland, who's a super guy, he lost about 100 pounds on doing the intermittent fasting diet. So basically, there you go, 16 hours. You couldn't do this. You don't need it.
I do.
16 hours with no
to it.
food, 16 hours without food, and then you have that 8-hour window that you can eat. So I thank God for Dr. Attia, because I was 300 pounds back about 9 years ago. Dr. Attia did the surgery on me, so I'm in pretty good shape. I just keep it right below 200. Try to get lower, but can't get much better than that. But it's what I've been doing, and it's easy because I live alone and I don't want to cook a lot of stuff. So I just grab a protein bar. So all I've had today is 2 protein bars, so that works for me. And then I'll have this evening I'll have a meal, somewhere.
So my coach also for my diet was Dr. Chuck Mintz.
Oh, what a nice, that was my doctor too.
So he's the one saying, okay, George, if you're not going to eat lunch, here's what you do. Now, he was into the supplements.
Yes, he was.
He was into a lot of yogurts, a lot of healthy kind of foods. And Dr. Howard Heron, my dentist, he was a health nut before anybody even knew what a health nut was. You would see an apple on his desk. You'd see
it's true.
celery on his desk. That's what you're having for lunch, an apple and celery. Okay, I get it. Splurge with a little peanut butter. So, so these were the guys that kind of mentored me also.
That's super.
So to try to keep my homeostatic weight.
See, now I know why you look so good. Kim Henry just said that you're her favorite dentist too, and Dr. Parati, and she has the pleasure of working with you and Dr. Parati. So Kim, I'll see you when I get in for my next exam, which I should be doing soon. In fact, that was nice. This is a nice thing, which you talked about being advanced. I get texts, and I got a birthday wish text from your office, and then we tried to schedule, but just my schedule and your schedule at the time didn't work. But I promise I'll be in before the end of the month, because maybe I can see your dentist.
Right. One of us.
So what are your hours?
Well, we're pretty flexible about the hours. I don't think there's any office that's open into the evening as often as we are. We're open from about 8 in the a.m., and if someone really has a problem, I will see him at 7:30.
Wow.
In the morning, and we have hours into the evening. So, depending on the need, if I need to put you in at 6 o'clock in the night, we will put you in at 6 p.m. But otherwise, it's Monday through Wednesday. 8 to 6.
Wow.
Thursday, 8 to say 5. Same thing with Friday.
Right.
But as I said, I'm not going to have corporate set rules, because we are humans with human problems, and needs develop, not once, but needs develop on a given notice there.
Exactly.
People break teeth, people get abscesses. So, let me know what your need is, and we'll try to address it, and we'll try to get you, in however you can.
And it's a good point, because you guys are needed when there's abscess or broken tooth or something that you just can't deal with. And I did see, I don't know, one day I guess they talked about 6 o'clock, and I thought, wow, that's really good. Fortunately for me, I could get in any afternoon, but that is nice to have the hours and to service the people, and that's why people like you, and they're going to like this handsome guy here. Goes in, they see his smile and his personality, and again, this isn't a corporate place. This is personalization. Boy, George, it's funny. When I was 14 and 15, I worked on a chicken farm 7 days a week, collecting eggs and feeding the chickens. And I've always worked. My father, well, your dad and your dad too, being in the farming business, you got to be working. You just do. So, it was just something that I just loved to work. And keep busy. I get bored easy. I think I have ADD, so I get bored. So I can have something.
Make a good
else.
dentist.
Yeah,
Something new every day.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, isn't it? I didn't think about that. You never know what you're going to run into each day. That's a very good point. So do you have? I know the hygienist is Andres.
Becky Andres.
Becky, yeah, okay. And before, who was the one I had before? She still works in the office. She was a really nice.
Julie Baum Abbott.
Yeah, I really liked her. Very nice. Did you have Dehaney? Was she with you?
Yes, Marylinda Dehaney.
Oh my God, I loved her too. Then she went with the kids. I lost her.
Yes.
You have had in the past some great dental hygienists, and again, that's an important position as well because you're always dealing with them at least, hopefully, a couple
Hopefully
times.
see them more than the doctor.
Yeah,
right?
exactly right. Yeah, and you'd rather just have the preventive things done. And George, you had mentioned, and somebody was just mentioning to me the other day, that now as we age, that there's a recommendation to 4 times a year for doing the cleanings.
Well, once again, you asked the question like, my answer to your toothbrush question. Justin gave you an answer.
Yeah.
To me, I look at a couple factors because one size to me does not fit all.
That's a good point.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like if I was to look at your hand and say, okay, here's a guy who's got good hand-eye coordination. He doesn't have arthritis. He can manipulate things here, or you have arthritis and you can't manipulate a toothbrush.
Oh, I see.
You can't
Gotcha.
floss.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come out and tell everybody in the listening audience that this is the answer. It's not. The answer is what works best in your hands.
Yeah.
What is going to motivate you to do what you should be doing.
Right. Yeah.
That's really the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, you walk down the aisle, the tooth aisle at Walgreens, Walmart, CVS, wherever you want to go. There's 100 different products.
What toothpaste do you recommend? Any
personally, I will use whatever samples I get.
Okay.
And I always
on sale.
Justin, okay. I like the ones in the plastic container that you can turn again, and
it's wonderful.
Yeah, well, that's just
nice
convenient
on the counter.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and I just flip it over and do that. And again, it's hard to find. I get Colgate usually, but Crest sometimes. They're the two because.
But once again, it's not so much the product. It's so much what we do with that product.
That's a good point.
How do we employ this? Yeah. Because we're taking a mechanical device and we're using it on our bodies, and how are we going to use that? Now, look, there's situations where Sensodyne is great for patients there, or something with more fluoride. So there are products that can help you, but once again, it's what you're going to do that really counts,
I'll never forget, you told me one day, and I still remember this, you said, Jim, I was asking about brushing teeth, you said, think of each tooth in your mind and make sure you take every single tooth as you're doing it. And of course, when I flossed last night, I really thought about that. But that was, good advice. As you just really, and not that I have to. I could do manual brushing, but I gotten lazy. I guess I enjoy the automatic, the motorized one, and I feel like it does a little bit better job than I would do.
Sure.
Yeah, so everybody's got their choices. Well, folks, now you've got 2 choices when you go to my dentist. You have my dentist, or you can have his dentist, whichever you'd like. So, are you, Justin? Are you in every day, or you?
Every day except Monday right now. So, well, eventually, once the schedule starts picking up a little bit, we'll probably work that day too. But for right now, it's working out to get us acclimated.
Yeah, that really well. Plus, you get a 3-day weekend. See, they want to take care of you.
Yeah, there's always something to do on Monday.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, anyway, it was so good to meet you, and Dr. Kourakin, thank you for being my dentist and being such a good guy and having such a good dentist yourself. Now, I'm telling you, you're
very thankful.
Thank you guys for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. There they are. You've got the phone number right there, folks. You can schedule your appointment, 825-0618, 856-825-0618, or you can go online, www.allmydentists.com. And my dentist, George Kourakin, DMD. What's PA?
A professional association.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We're proud to serve Millville, New Jersey, and anywhere else you'd like to come from. You could come from Mill May.
That's right down the street.
Buna, or anywhere you'd like to be. Yeah, it is close, and it's a nice community as well. So, Dr. Justin, thank you for being with us. Dr. George, thank you. And folks, we hope you'll have a good evening. And if you need a dentist, here's two great ones right here, so give them a call. Take care. Thanks, George Kachia, for producing the show. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. You're welcome.
This has been a QBC television production in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22 and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.